So we're really excited to be here with GTE Financial, as well as the Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce. My name is Ben Van Horn. I am the VP of Advertising Sales for Spectrum Reach, located here in Tampa Bay. If you don't know who Spectrum Reach is, we are the advertising division of Spectrum. How many of you have internet or mobile phone service with Spectrum here in the market? Yes, so we're very proud. We're very invested in the local community, invested in local businesses. And most of the way that we do that is by helping them with their advertising. We provide the ability to tell your story, build your brand, and do that via TV, via streaming, and via online. So we're really excited to be here with GTE Financial and Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce to have a really good conversation. The goal for us today is to really talk about advertising best practices, smart financing for your business, how to budget and do it in the right way for all the goals you're trying to accomplish, as well as the power of community for your business. So we'll cover everything from effective marketing strategies to better budget planning. So with that, I want to start by introducing our guest today. And I think we'll just go down the row. Just tell us your name, tell us what you do, and a little bit about yourself before we get started. So Kaz, I'll start with you.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. So Kaz Huff. So everybody calls me Kaz. I'm the VP of Field Marketing and Colonel Client Creative for Spectrum Reach. I'm out of Nashville, so if you hear a slight twinge of Southern, that's what you're picking up on. Excited to be here. You know, we do a lot of the same things that a lot of businesses in this room do. We try to actually create awareness. We try to drive demand. We try to get the right messaging out there for Spectrum Reach so that we get businesses coming in, which is a need for a lot of small businesses.
Thank you, Kaz.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Avril Stinson, Vice President of Economic Inclusion and Leadership Development at the Tampa Bay Chamber. And one of the main programs that is under my purview is the Tampa Bay Business Accelerator. So I am extremely thrilled to be here today to talk to you all about how you can get involved with your community organizations that lead to the strengthening of your business, as well as how you can get your employees involved. When it comes down to community and business partnerships, that's the only thing that's going to move us forward. So I'm really, really excited to be a part of this panel today.
Hey, good morning. My name is August Hoff. I am the AVP of Insurance Agencies here for GTE Financial. So I oversee GTE Insurance and then also our other sister agency, Blue Star Insurance, which is our Hispanic arm for that. I'm really excited to talk to you guys about maybe some tips and tricks on the insurance side and how insurance can play a big part in your business.
Good morning, Gerhard Toth. I'm the Business Banking Director. Thank you for being here. We are very passionate about small businesses. We have teams across Tampa Bay that lead with advice, guidance, education. So we look forward to sharing some of that knowledge with you all today, and please ask questions. That's the best part of the meeting.
That's great. Well, great to see you all. Thank you for being here. Gerhard, let's start with you. When you talk about businesses, really kind of trying to grow or just start their business, part of that is being able to get some of the funding and financing that they need to. So can you talk a little bit about, whether it's obtaining a loan or a line of credit, what should a business owner be thinking about when considering some of those options?
Sure, that's a great question, and we get that question all the time. The first thing is to really think about where you want to go, where you are and where you want to go. There are a number of different credit solutions out there. I'll speak briefly about them. Typically, a line of credit for a business is for short-term working capital, something that you will be able to repay or use within 12 months or less. So think about you need to hire an employee, and so you get a line of credit to offset some of those expenses, or you're opening up another location, you need to cover some of those expenses with a line of credit. When it comes to a loan, typically you're thinking about something long-term and something that's associated with an asset. Think about it as a vehicle loan, a piece of equipment, an office space, what have you. But before you jump in, you got to make sure that you understand where you are with your finances today and where you want to go. And part of that conversation is really establishing a relationship with a local financial institution. And we can talk about that a little bit later on.
Well, let's just spend a little bit. So what are the ways to kind of build credit, right? Over time and so that they're financing, right? They're thinking about that. What are best ways and best practices to build credit?
Sure. So 99% of the businesses in the United States are small businesses. So what is a small business? You ask the government, you ask the chambers, everybody has a different definition. We in GTE define it as companies with 100 employees or less. So when you're out there trying to build credit and you're starting from scratch, you got to start small, right? You got to walk before you run. And although credit options may be limited as a startup, there are available options. A credit card, a trade line. If you have vendors and you need to pay your vendors and they give you terms, sometimes those terms are reported to the credit bureaus, right? So typically in the marketplace here in Tampa Bay, credit will be granted to a business if they've been in operation for at least 2 years on average. There are some exceptions to the rule. If you've had industry experience, if you have a relationship with that financial institution, or perhaps you can use another company to guarantee the debt. But going back to what I said first, you gotta have a relationship with a local banker. There are great resources out there, chambers, organizations that help you, but you gotta establish that relationship because you wanna start the right way.
That's great. August, I want to go over to you and shift gears a little bit, but talk a little about insurance because that's your specialty. So, how do insurance needs vary depending on the size of the business that they own?
Sure. The size of the business will affect really how the insurance will play as far as what types of insurances you'll get. So I'll give you 2 examples. If you have a solo entrepreneur, a one-man shop, the type of insurances you might be looking for might just be a general liability policy or property, and maybe like a BOP, a business owner's policy. Whereas if you're more of a mid-sized to larger company, in addition to those policies, you might also want to look into workers' comp and EPLI, which is employment liability insurance.
So how can they keep up with some of those requirements, for safety, workers' comp, and so forth? Can you expand a little bit upon that as well?
Yeah, on the workers' comp side, really the main thing would be to make sure you have a safety manual and training for your employees, maybe even a checklist. But one of the good things is a lot of the carriers for workers' comp, they actually have safety classes and safety programs that the employers and the businesses can follow and maybe do audits. Those are very helpful because it actually helps you in your premiums and you'll get a discount for that.
Let's go to Kaz. Investing in your business also includes investing in your marketing strategy to make sure that you're telling your story and communicating with the community. So let's start with you. Just how do you start? Where do the businesses start?
Yeah, well, 100%. I mean, that is one of the things. Businesses a lot of times think about the funding, the education, the insurance, the partnerships. And then one of the most important pieces is becoming known. Here's an exercise I like to do. Are y'all up for it? All right, seems like a quiet crowd, but we're going to see if we can get them to say something here. All right, does everybody have a favorite small business that you frequent? Might be a place you eat, a place you shop, a place you get your tires fixed. Everybody got one? Yes. All right, put it in your head, and I'm going to count down to 1, and I want you all to say it, right? I'm going to go 3, 2, 1. Everybody say your favorite small business. Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, let's try it again. 3, 2, 1. Yell it out there. Yeah. Hard to hear, right? That is a challenge for most small businesses, right? It's a crowded, cluttered world with a lot of options out there. And so the ability to start to stand out, there's a rule, 95-5. If you're familiar with it, what it really means is that really only 5% of your potential customers are in market at any one time to buy your service. And most small businesses go, hey, I got to go get that 5%. The big businesses that come in, they really think about how do I market to the 95% so when they become that 5, I'm ready to do it. And so that's what we recommend is how do you create that awareness for people to think about me? Because the business you just thought about, would they benefit from more people knowing about them and thinking about them the way that you just brought up, right? They're the one that came to your mind, so the more that you can do it. So if you're a business owner, you're responsible for driving a business, you should really think about how in my market area to have more people think about me more often. And we find that's the way that you can succeed and compete in a really crowded, noisy marketplace.
So let's talk about how do we compete and get our name out there. Everyone in this room, whether it's on your phone, your iPad, or your TV, you're watching some kind of video. So talk to me about the importance of video and really getting your message out.
Yeah, and everybody does watch video, right? That's one of the things that people do, and they watch it across all kinds of different platforms. But generally when you watch it, you have some emotion tied to that. So being able to tie your brand to some of that content, right? I'm a big Georgia Bulldog fan, right? I like to watch those ball games. And when I see those brands inside of there, it actually stands out to me. And so using video creates a level of trust. It creates a different level of how people think about the quality of your business, the size of your business. It makes it feel like you're growing. So you actually can build yourself up by wisely using video tied to quality content across multiple screens. And that's how we help a lot of businesses like the ones here in this room grow, stand out, and become known. So video is a great tool.
That's great. I want to go to Avril now. And so we talked about investing in your business, investing in your marketing strategy, but we also have to invest in our communities, and we have to do a better job of networking. So talk to me about the importance of investing in the community that you're in.
Well, absolutely. Thank you so much for that question. And I hope all of you can see how what the chambers do and what your community organizations do is give resources, access to resources that everybody up here provides. And then not only that, you come together as business owners within your community. Being a business owner is hard, right? So you need to not only build a place where you can have resources, but you can reach out, get your customer base, connect with your customers. Don't be afraid of larger chambers or larger organizations that you're going to be swallowed up in. Find your niche, go where you're celebrated, go where your business can solve problems. You'd be surprised at the opportunities that chambers have available to you. You think you're a small business and you can't buy large-scale advertising. That's why Spectrum Reach has the program that they do, so that way they can help you, and then you can take, as you get to involved within those organizations, you take your message onwards and forwards. You have your employees share that message as well, and you build your brand within your community, so that way you give back, starting small, and then you grow bigger, just like you do with your advertising. It's all connected.
So you worked in a couple of different areas where it's like accelerator programs. So how does that work in terms of networking and working with other people that are like-minded, maybe have similar goals? Can you give some advice on how to best partner with others, when you're trying to accelerate your business?
My pleasure. I know a lot of you out there, you're so busy working in your business, you don't get a chance to work on your business. And so a lot of the accelerator programs or entrepreneurial support programs that are available, they're there specifically targeted for you and for your success. So that way you have support around finding resources to help your business grow. So that way you can find like-minded individuals to have a round table and talk through your problems. So that way somebody else might have already faced a finance or insurance challenge and they have a resource that they can share with you. The program I particularly am affiliated with, it's a 2-year accelerator program for businesses who are looking to scale and become sustainable. And as we move forward in the future, small business sustainability is my complete focus, and it should be our complete focus, because we want to make sure the backbone of our economy is available to all of us.
I love that. That's great. So we're in an environment right now where there's a little bit of uncertainty in the market and the economy and things. So I really kind of want to pose this question to everybody. I'd love to each of you to get some thoughts into here, because how do we make sure that businesses are best prepared to deal with the uncertainty that's out there right now? Gerhard, August, I open it up to both of you if you'd like to start and share some thoughts and some advice.
Sure. I think what needs to happen is, no matter what sort of media you absorb, something's always happening, mostly negative, right? But if you were to shut that off and just focus on your neighbors, your community, your employees, that will reward you tremendously, because you're kind of like phasing out the noise. I know it's difficult at times, but that allows you to be better prepared and better focused to face the uncertain economical times, political turmoil, or whatever it may be. I alluded to having a plan in place earlier on. We encourage all of our business members, our business owners, to have a plan in place. Whether you are a one-person shop or whether you own a business with 50 employees, you should have a roadmap. And that roadmap will allow you to stay on track. And if you are derailing for whatever reason, you're going off course, then you can go in and say, I need to regroup, I need to reset. And the business plan is very important, but also who are your trusted sources? Who are your trusted partners, right? So everybody here probably knows a good banker, a good realtor, a good insurance person, a good accountant, etc. That is your board of directors, right? You don't need to be a large company to have a board of directors. You should have a circle of trust, a circle of professionals that can actually provide you with some guidance. I'm having an issue with tariffs. I'm having an issue with accounting. I'm having an issue with my property. You should be able to pick up the phone and have those conversations. That uncertainty is always going to be there, but if you're prepared, the noise is going to dissipate just a little bit.
I love that. I think what's one of the mentors that I had always recommended, having a personal board of directors. Like you don't have to be a big corporate company. Make a list. Who are those people that you trust and that you can go to, when you need help? I love that. August, thoughts?
Yeah, that's actually very perfect, Gerhard. And from an insurance standpoint, which is basically what I was going to say, is rely on your local insurance agent. As far as what's going on in the marketplace and everything, your insurance agent's going to know before you will. They're going to know what the market climate is, what's happening in the industry. If rates are going up, if they're going down, they'll be able to advise you on changes you can make within your business to get discounts. They'll basically point you in the right direction. They'll also be able to look at your coverages, maybe adjust things up or down. A lot of times, sometimes I'll talk to business owners and we'll look at things and I'll ask them, well, why do you have this? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, this is a coverage you'll never be able to collect because you don't have X, Y, and Z. So it's definitely important to be able to reach out to your advisor, whether it's insurance or CPA, attorney, whatever it might be, and have those conversations. And you need to talk to them on a regular basis. With insurance, minimum once a year.
Great tips. Admiral, how can business prepare in a certain economy?
Ooh, I'm going to say have trust in yourselves. You trusted yourselves to start a business, to lead a team, to focus on what you're doing within the community and how you're going to serve yourself and your customers and your clients. So what you need to do is make sure you keep showing up for activities like this, make sure you keep networking, make sure that you're continuously learning and that you're resilient. There'll be a lot of times where you want to give up, but that's where your trusted board of advisors comes in. And trust in yourself. A lot of people get nervous when they have to turn in certain paperwork or documentation, or they feel like you should know how to make a marketing plan or design that. No, you don't. They're experts. They're subject matter experts that are here for you, and they want you. Their whole entire job is for you to come to them for that expertise. They are here to help you. So have enough trust and confidence and faith in yourself that you know how to go out and confidently ask for the resources that you need. And that's what's going to make you separate out from those businesses that don't succeed.
That's great. Thank you. Kaz, when things get tough, marketing is usually one of those things that's looked at closely and factored into those decisions. So what do we need to tell small businesses that even though things are uncertain, they need to continue to make sure that they're out there?
Yeah, and that's a great point. And all these were great answers. I was on a similar panel in North Carolina not too long ago, and one of the statements in the room was, nobody wins when a small business closes. And I thought, that's a powerful line, and that's true. And typically, hard times will come, right? I think back over my career. I can remember 98 and 99. We all remember 2020. We might remember, 9/11 and what that did. There will be things that impact the economy, and the tendency is to freeze, right, and to start to pull back. And ultimately, there's a lot of opportunities and changes and challenges. And so when you think about the right advisors, the right partnerships, but on Averill's point, believing in yourself, everybody got into this business with a dream and a plan, and you sweated and you put a lot of investment in it. And you don't want to go backwards. You don't want to go back to the life before, so you've got to find a way through. And usually revenue solves a lot of problems, right? A lot of income coming in. So how do you actually build that customer base using all those resources you just heard about, but finding that way to make sure that you have more people walking through the door, that phone ringing more, and finding that pitch that regardless of whatever time frame it is, how do you match that challenge and how do you put that message in the marketplace? Because people are going to need what you provide.
Yeah, that's great. So I think what I want to go to now is about finding the right fit. You know, we talked about having advisors and people that we can trust. Sometimes that's, you know, finding new partnerships and new relationships. So I'll start with Gerhard, you and August. You know, what are questions that business should be asking of their credit union or their financial institution to make sure that's the right fit for them? You know, where should they start and what questions should they be asking?
How much time do we have?
Take your time. You've got time.
That's a great question. Listen, there's a lot of data, a lot of tools that you can leverage, right, to research rankings and ratings and asset sizes and number of locations. But at the end of the day, for a financial institution, the relationship with the member is just that, a relationship. So whether you are just starting out or you have an existing relationship with a financial institution, we tell our members, we tell our prospects, you know, you first have to get to know them, then you have to like them, and then you have to trust them. And that's a process. It doesn't happen overnight, right? So you got to ask these questions, you know, how do you support small business? How do your business banking programs look like? Something big these days is also where are decisions being made? Are they being made here in Tampa? Are they being made out west, up north? So being local matters a lot these days in everything that you do, right? Who are the people behind that financial institution? Again, local knowledge, local expertise, time to market. If you need to wait 2 weeks or 2 months to hear back from your financial institution for whatever question or issue you have, then that's probably not the right fit. And lastly is, you know, how are they going to market? Is it just with technology? Is it through branches? Is it through community engagement? Is it a combination of everything? And it's usual for business owners to sometimes have a primary relationship with a financial institution and a secondary. You may need a backup. But if you have a good partner, a good financial partner, they should be visiting you. They should be that advisor. They should be telling you, listen, this is going to happen over the next 6 months. Get ready for it. And sometimes they're going to tell you stuff that you don't want to hear. And that's what a good advisor does. Because if your advisor is just a yes person, yes, you're great, yes, you should expand, yes, you should get debt, that's a disservice, right? So a good advisor, a good financial institution will support you, will advise you, and will challenge you the right way.
I like that. Speed to trust. I always love that way of looking at it is how quickly can you build that trust with a partner. August, anything else you would add? Some good questions to ask?
No, again, I think Gerhard pretty much handled all of it, at least from the insurance standpoint of it. I'd say the most important question when you are working with your insurance advisor is what carriers or companies does that insurance agent have access to? Not every business, not every insurance company will fit every single business, right? It's not just a one size fits all. So certain companies are out there that specialize in different industries. So make sure the agent you're working with has access to those carriers.
Avril, wait, so when you're talking to folks every day, what is either the most common question that you hear or what is the question that people should be asking as you're advising?
The question I ask is, what is it do you really need, right? Because you don't know what you don't know. And so businesses come to the chamber and they're looking for resources and opportunities. And they say, well, we need customers, we need clients. We're trying to outreach. But I peel back the layer, and a good entrepreneurial support organization will peel back that layer and ask the next question, what are you doing now to reach your audience? Or what are you doing now to reach resources? Check your ego at the door. Make sure that if there's something you don't know, you're listening to the subject matter expert who's helping you. You think you know it all, that's not going to get you anywhere either because you're not learning. You're not open to learning. And in today's society, in today's economy, everything changes so quickly. So you have to be nimble. You have to be innovative. You have to go out and ask people for what you need and then ask people for what you don't know. If there's an industry that you've been in and you're like, okay, I'm really trying to break into ABC, then go find somebody in that space and ask them, what are the pain points? What do they need? And then that way you can figure out how you can best help them. If you're just spinning around with no focus, no business plan, then your dollars aren't going to be able to recirculate in your business, and then you're not going to be able to recirculate them effectively within the community, which is what we're actually all after.
Yeah, that's great. Kaz, so there's a lot of options for businesses to advertise, whether it's, they do it themselves or they're finding a partner. What are the questions they should be asking a media partner before they start investing in their advertising?
Sure. And you're right, there's a lot out there, right? And it's hard to trust people. The first one I would ask myself is, do they really care about my success? Are they invested in my success? Do they care about the community I serve, the marketplace that I serve? I think that's an important one, because when you get that trust, then as they start to dig into your problems and what you're trying to solve, you can count on it. The other one I would just say is, do they have the resources that I need? So if you need creative help, do they have creative? Do they have somebody that can be committed and devoted to and dedicated to helping me walk through this process and give me the reporting and the measurement and help me understand the backside of it and adjust when things change? So you want to make sure, one, that you trust that group, they're familiar with the area, they're familiar with the industry, and that they also are there all the way through and can give you that measurement on the backside. I think is really important in a partner.
Yeah, especially for small businesses, every dollar counts, right? And that return on your ad spend, your investment is critical. So having the right partner that's stewarding that for you is good.
I'd like to make a comment.
Sure, please, jump in.
Just to jump in on that as well. If a partner is not working for you, you can say no. I mean, they are not everybody gets along, not everybody's personality gets along. And when you're talking about things that are special and near and dear to you, like your business, your employees, your finances, those are conversations that are already hard to have. So if you are working with somebody and they're showing you disrespect, they're not listening to you, they're not giving you the opportunities that you need to get the answers that you need to help your business be successful, don't be mad at that. Just understand that it's time to end that relationship and find somebody else who can help you be successful.
And I think we can all agree, right? We have to earn that respect and that trust every single day. And Gerhard, you kind of mentioned it earlier, right? It's not always being a yes person. It's saying, you might want to think about this differently. You may want to look at it this way. I've worked in this space for a long time. You're there to offer advice, not just to say yes, right? Yeah. So, Avril, I want to go back to you because we talked about advisors, and I want to talk about mentorship. And I think that whether it's having a personal mentor, it's having a business coach, maybe a partner, can you talk about maybe somebody that's been a great influence on you and in your career and helped you become who you are today?
Oh, there's too many to count. All of you, I hope you have a Rolodex, and I just aged myself by saying Rolodex. I didn't even know what the kids say now. But anyway, have a big, large bench of mentors and support folks there, of all as diverse as possible. Some of my favorite mentors, they didn't even know they were mentoring me. I just casually picked them up and started learning from them. I learned a lot of what to do. I learned a lot of what not to do, how to be a better person, how to be a better community leader, how to be a better listener. But mentorship is incredible. And it is the very most basic building block to your success, because when you have that trusted advisor and you have good mentors, again, those are the people in the community that are going to surround you with the positive inspiration that you need to keep going, because running a small business is hard. And so you need that, right? So anybody that you can reach out to grow your network, do that, and then remember to make sure that you're doing it on the other side, because we have a wonderful generation of Gen Zers coming out of college, trade school, high schools, and they're going to be your employees. And what a lot of folks don't realize or focus on is that, and you all can correct me if I'm wrong, but in my experience, lending institutions like to look at job creation and headcount. So when you tie marketing into getting your name out with community service and you're creating jobs, then they're looking at you as a true economic impact. And that's what every region needs. You need dollars recycled within your community, you need true economic impact, you need job creation, and you need everybody to help build that holistic environment around you. So mentorship, absolutely 1,000%. Again, too many for me to mention. I know everybody's got somebody near and dear and special, but I want to make sure that the audience understands that this is about you all, and this is about you all finding the mentorship that you need to be successful business leaders.
Gentlemen, anybody stand out to you? Or the importance of a coach or a guide? Kaz?
Yeah,
I'll put you on the spot.
Yeah, well, I'll take Avrils. I've had a ton through my career, but ultimately I would say, who is doing the thing that you would like to do, right? Do you have somebody that you can point to that's living the life, that's driving the business, that's making the impact, that's interacts in a way you want to interact, and be around those people. Spend more time around those people. You know, there's an old saying that you become one of the 5 people that you hang around the most with. Hang around the people that you think you want to emulate and be the most like.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. Sure, yeah, please.
Just real quick, I think we've all had mentors, and we would encourage you to have a mentor or mentors in your life cycle, your business cycle. But the one ask is that you give back, right? So that you take on some mentees later on, and you give back. That's the best way to give back to this wonderful and diverse Tampa Bay community is your engagement with those mentees. It's a great way to give back to this community.
I love that, and I think it's a great segue, right? Because both of you mentioned it, which is paying it forward. You know, you've had success. You know, you've done some things. How do you pay that forward with advice? But I think it's also a great transition to paying it forward to other businesses and what we're doing here with the Pay It Forward program. So, Kaz, I'd like to go back to you. Is not only what's the importance of Pay It Forward, but why is it important to invest in small businesses ultimately?
Yeah. Well, it's been said in here, small business is the backbone of any community. And nobody wins if small businesses are struggling. And we actually founded the program in 2020. Anybody remember that year? Yeah, tough. Everybody's world changed. And so one of the questions we ask ourselves is, what do we have available to help? You know, because we were in the same boat, right? We were all trying to figure out a way through. And so we said, look, we have creative resources. We have skills from our account executives that really know how to navigate a market, and we have media placement. And so we created a grant program and said, let's go out and help businesses message what they need to do, because everybody's model was changing around delivery, and we don't have our doors open in different things. And so we founded it in 2020, and since then we've had over 2,500 businesses have been through the program. And we love it. They learn how to market, they learn how to promote, they use those resources because we see those businesses growing, and that's how they can compete in a very competitive environment. But what we also are really excited about, one, partners like GTE and the group that are helping to spread the word and helping bring businesses into the program in communities where they're familiar with and they know what's best for those businesses. But the network it creates. A lot of our alumni through the program have met each other all across the country, and they swap notes and they talk to each other. And so it's created a network of 2,500 small businesses that have seen success. And we've heard businesses that said, I've opened a second location. They said, I had to hire new people. I got a second truck. And it just makes such a big difference for them. So we're excited about what it does inside the community, what it does for small business and helping to grow, and how they're paying it forward and how our sponsors are helping to pay that forward.
Yeah, and I'd love Garrett to touch on that too, because we're proud of the program. We're also very appreciative of the partnership. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on why it's important to you.
I think Kaz already said it best. I'll just add that it's aligned with our mission, right? We want to give back to the community. We want to support small businesses. If you don't give back, you're missing out on so much. The vibrancy and the diversity of this community begins with each one of us, right? We live here, we work here, our families are here, and if we take care of each other, I think in any community, we're just going to grow. There's a difference, right? I alluded to noise in the media and this and that. There's a difference between Wall Street and Main Street, right? Everybody here is Main Street. Wall Street, you're going to hear all the negative news all over the place, right? But if you focus on Main Street, those are your small businesses, this community, you give back, you mentor, you partner, the results will come. And I would like to steal your word, resiliency. You gotta be resilient, you gotta be flexible, and that will make you succeed in the business space.
That's great. Now I'd like to go to you. Why is the Pay It Forward program important to the Chamber and the partnership?
It is such an incredible resource. Having the small businesses have access to an opportunity to market themselves in such a large way is incredible. They don't realize they have that opportunity. And so when all of a sudden, and we have, members that are everywhere from food service and catering to cybersecurity within our programs, and they've all figured out ways that they're able to use it. And they have such appreciation because, again, you're not just handed something, check the box and move on. You all really support the companies as they go through with their marketing plans and actual placement. And again, business owners don't know how to use those tools. And so it's very near and dear to my heart because, like you said, it aligns with the mission, vision, and values of what we're trying to do in servicing our business community. So for me, it makes an excellent partnership. And I really appreciate, ever since 2020 and beyond, Spectrum Reach coming out and speaking to the small businesses. You all have made yourselves available to come out and speak and to walk hand in hand and side by side with our businesses for their ultimate success.
So thank you. Well, we've gotten a lot of amazing advice from our panel. Thank you all. But I also want to make sure that we open it up for a few minutes to any questions from the audience. So please feel free. If you've got any questions, please raise your hand. Happy to challenge these folks here to give some additional advice. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you all for being here. Appreciate the opportunity. My name is Ben. My wife and I own a business in the community called Star Insurance and Tax. And I wanted to ask a question directed toward you, Gerhardt, particularly on lines of credit. Curious to know, as businesses are building up their relationship and the opportunity to make the ask for working capital, how do lenders see other lines of credit on a business's history or balance sheet when they are seeking maybe a large line of credit or they've got other expansions? How's that viewed, and what should they do to make sure they're in the best position?
Great question. Financial institutions will take a look at how those lines of credit have been used. So they'll look at your payment history. They'll take a look at any late payments. And sometimes, depending on the type of line of credit, they will take a look at the line if it has been evergreened. Evergreen means that the line of credit, let's say it's a line of credit of $50,000, and within the first few months, it's maxed out to $50,000, and nothing has changed for the next 24, 36 months. So that's a negative, right? Because a line of credit, again, is supposed to be for short-term working capital. The best thing to do is to try to think of a business credit report similar to a personal business report. The same things that favor you on the personal side will favor you on the business side. Things that will affect you negatively on the personal side will affect you negatively on the business side. Late payments, over limits, the fact that perhaps the line is not being treated as a line, but it's treating as a loan. So a number of things. Very good question.
Thank you, Ben, for the question. Any other questions from the group?
I have a question for the audience. How many of you right now could call up a financial partner and ask a question and get assistance? So if you're not raising your hand, that's something I do challenge you to do, because when you need that help and you need that line of credit, you need to apply for it before you need it, right? When you need it, it's probably too late and you've reached an issue, and your banker and your financial institution, they want to be there for you ahead of time. They want you to be bankable. So I challenge everybody in here, even if you already have somebody, go out to a networking event, come to a chamber event and meet somebody else, so that way you have somebody else on speed dial to answer those questions for you or sit down and help you fill out those papers. It's important. It's more important than you realize.
Can we just give it up for our panel, please? Round of applause. Thank you, Kaz, Avril, August, and Gerhard. Really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you all. And thank you all for coming out and spending time with us. We hope that everyone is successful. Have a great rest of the day and great rest of the week. Thank you so much for joining us today. For additional information or other resources on Pay It Forward, go to SpectrumReach, payitforward.com.